This presentation is on the background of legalizing pot as a medicine. Since when has medicine become legal through a vote and not by research, studies, and FDA approval? Why and who is trying to circumvent the FDA process? Isn't this a step backwards in science and medicine? I'm Teresa Miller, a volunteer striving to keep our communities safe and informed. None of these foundations, organizations, or associations support smoked pot as a medicine. They are, however, aware that some components of marijuana, specifically CBD, has some medicinal value, and they promote studies and research to produce the best possible medicine for an ailing patient. Which one of these looks like a 21st century medicine, which has guidelines and has been researched, studied, and proven to be beneficial in helping a patient and often curing diseases? Now let's look at the history of medical marijuana. Since the 70s, it has always been the goal of pro-marijuana organizations to legalize recreational pot. This campaign wasn't advancing as fast as they wanted, so they decided to come up with a new campaign, and the strategy was born. Let's repackage smoked pot as a medicine. Every state that has legalized pot as a medicine has begun to legalize full recreational use, so their strategy seems to be working. Here's some of their quotes. Take the moral ground from conservatives and start appealing to people's hearts. In 1996, California legalized pot as a medicine. Soon followed Colorado. And for the past year, I'm sure you've read numerous articles about the turmoil that Colorado's been in since medical marijuana was legalized and now full legalization. Who else might benefit from marijuana being legalized? Tobacco companies. They've always wanted a piece of the action, and now that cigarette smoking has been declining over the past several years, there's plenty of land available for marijuana crops. For decades, the tobacco industry misled the public in believing that low tar or light cigarettes were safer for smokers. Why would it be harmful for the lungs to smoke cigarettes but not pot? Really? Pot is typically drawn deeper into the lungs and thus much more harmful. Now let's look at Florida. John Morgan, a personal injury attorney, spent $4 million to get medical marijuana on the ballot. Quoting Ben Pallera for United for Care, literally thousands of volunteers contributed their time collecting petitions in the rain and heat, holidays and weekends. In reality, they were paid $1 a signature in the beginning and then as much as $4 for each signature. Much less, they were also paid an additional $25 to $35 per hour. Does that sound like volunteers to you? Does this really sound like someone who cares about a person's health or someone who cares about filling his own pockets? Sadly, this has become a political and financial issue. Again, Pallera has been quoted as stating, "We want to be able to have our stereotypical lazy pothead voters to be able to vote from their couch on election day." Financially, just follow the money. From the cultivating classes, to the grow sites, to the pot shops, to the lawsuits. Personal attorney lawyers will potentially make thousands, if not millions of dollars off unsuspecting and innocent people in our state who believe smoked pot is a medicine. Let's look at some of the cases that are around our nation now. Will a drug-free workplace even exist in the future? What if an employee high on medical marijuana gets injured on the job? Is an employer going to have to pay for health care, disability? What about hiring another employee? Sounds like lots of opportunities for lawyers and many unbudgeted expenses for employers. In this case, an employer's right to drug test is questioned. A man was fired for testing positive for pot. This case has gone to the Colorado Supreme Court. If the court rules in the favor of the employee, proponents of marijuana use will be making the case that employees should have protection for using marijuana. What will happen if drug testing is no longer an option? In addition to the increased cost of insurance, absenteeism, healthcare costs for substance abuse treatment, there will be a substantial added expense for lawyers' fees. Will businesses be able to afford these additional costs? Look at the ads that popped up when researching medical marijuana. This isn't a coincidence. Let's look at Florida again. With the infrastructure in place from pill mills, Florida is the perfect storm for being the supplier of pot for the East Coast. Now you can see why Florida has been targeted and what states will be next. This has been the strategy for years. Does this look like medicine to you? If this were really about medicine and caring for the sick, why aren't those proponents of medical marijuana encouraging patients to participate in clinical trials? These trials exist throughout our nation. They provide a safe and well-researched medicine with standards of care. Because it's not really about health care. It's about personal injury attorney, lawyers, and entrepreneurs preying on the innocent, promoting pot as a miracle drug, and making billions of dollars off this industry in a variety of ways. Who are you going to believe? Is this a scam or is this health care? Send this information to your family and friends, co-workers, bosses, church members. We need to educate our communities. Our nation's future depends on all of us. Don't be silent. Don't let Florida be another Colorado, Washington, or California. Don't be doped. Smoked pot is not a medicine. For more information, for articles, brochures, documentation, and videos, go to notopot.org.